Today my guest on Hello Darlink is Julian Pace, who recently shot to fame with the launch of Happiness Co. This company has a mission to help people to find happiness and has the motto, "Happiness could change a life and even save one." 9 years ago, his much-loved father, John Pace, was far from happy. His suicide left his family and friends in deep grief and endless questions. In 2008, Julian Pace chose to champion just one topic, happiness, to help honor his father and to try and protect other families from the pain he has endured. Hello, darling, and welcome to our show.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julian, for being here. Julian, I decided to call our interview, our episode, 113 Reasons Why Not.
I love that.
Thank you. I obviously refer to the very controversial TV series that was called different than this, yes? And was portraying something very obvious. Now, before we start this beautiful conversation, congratulations on turning 30.
Thank you very much. Yeah, 30 over the hill now, they say.
I think you're on top of the, you going to the top of the hill.
On top of the hill, top of the hill.
I love you to touch on last 10 years of your life, which has been pretty full on and quite unusual for a young man between 20 and 30. Can you tell our viewers something about your journey between 20 and 30?
Love to. And firstly, thank you for having me. Really nice to be here. Always nice to share and hopefully make some impacts to the people watching. The last 10 years, so 30 about 4 weeks ago. And it's been an interesting last 10 years. Some heartache, some struggles, a lot of darkness, and a lot of times in the last 10 years when I felt that I probably wouldn't be 30. I probably wouldn't make it to 30. And obviously that's because of life got really hard at times, really dark, really low. And a lot of the time, especially for the first 5 years, so it's kind of 20 to 25, really a big struggle. And I had some really defining moments, which I call moments of impact, when I look back on my life now. But back then, they seemed to be my reality. It's, I lost some people I really cared about in a really short amount of time. And in their moments, you can really lose your way, and sometimes you don't know where to go for help.
You lost your closest person in your life?
Yeah, I lost my role model, my father, to suicide on my 21st birthday, which was really hard. When you're supposed to be celebrating something that's really, I guess, a milestone. 21 and 30 are really milestones for your life, and someone that I looked up to, and for so many reasons. He's your dad. He taught me how to be a man. He taught me how to respect myself, and so in return I can respect others. So it was really tough because there were so many questions left unanswered. There was so many things I wanted to say, and these things used to play in my head all the time. Like, he's never going to see my kids. He's never going to see the woman I decide to marry. He's never going to be there for the moments of my life that really matter. And his life was cut so short through his own battle with mental health. And only a few years after that, I lost my cousin. And then within 5 days of losing my cousin, I lost my best friend. And all to mental health. And it's really hard when you're a young man to try and put this all together.
Julian, how do you gain the strength? Because you have just recently, and congratulations, launched Happiness Co. company.
Thank you.
Yes, you have been all over the media about the launch and the response and the publicity. How do you get your strength after such a tragedy? And what's Happiness Co? Tell our viewers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's an amazing moment when you get to launch something that you're so proud of. And the big reason, why we developed the company was a tribute to not just what I had lost, but what we had all lost. Everyone's lost a brother, a sister, a mum, a dad. Everyone's been affected somehow in mental health. And I wanted to develop something and design something to help people in the space of unhappiness. Because I get this question so much. Like, did my father lose his life because he was depressed? It may have ended at depression, but it very much started unhappiness. Unhappiness in his relationships, unhappiness in his career, and then not knowing where to ask, I guess seeking help, or not knowing the questions to ask, or not really knowing how to, I guess, dissolve his emotions. And I think so many people go through that struggle. You know, that fear of judgment, that fear of I'm not going to fit in, that fear of not being loved. So I thought, what a great opportunity to design something that gives people a place where they can be themselves, be vulnerable, be real, and most importantly, be authentic and show their true self without the perfect filters and the perfect, social media life. And there's a real beauty in people which is perfectly imperfect. And it's something that we're really trying to inspire in people. Real people, real stories. And your cracks are what make you beautiful. It's like a bit of art. Everyone's beautiful in their own way. And even my own journey, it was very hard. It was gut-wrenching. But I used that pain as my power and my sadness as my strength. And I think so many people forget that they're still in control. Life can get really hard, yes, but you still have the fundamental choice. And there was a moment in my life that was really defining when I really took my power back.
So how does Happiness Co work? For viewers that don't know yet, how do you execute the mission of showing people how to be happy, or how to find the happiness, or not to lose the happiness?
Yeah.
How do you work? How do you execute it?
Yeah. So we call it the Happiness Co ecosystem, which is the grow and give.
Yes.
So there's two really big things that would make anyone happy, which is growth and progress. So if you're growing in life and making progress, you feel like you're achieving things. So that's one big part of the company. And the other side of the company is contribution, which is I am helping you. That good old saying, many hands make light work. So what we do is we do online training programs,
yes,
which we do bring all a community together, a tribe together, and it's real, it's raw, and it's vulnerable because people feel that being vulnerable will make them isolated, but being vulnerable actually brings us together because it's pain and pleasure, push and pull, yin and yang of life. So we do a bunch of online programs which are amazing. We've now helped thousands of people through our online programs. We do speaking events, so we're on stage, as Happiness Co events. We call them Love Us Days. So about how do you design self-love and more happiness in your life. And then we work inside a lot of corporates, a lot of schools, and teaching people the tools. Life isn't going to get any easier, and it's one of my biggest messages. Your problems don't go away, you just get better at dealing with them. And if we can help people with the tools and the application to deal with the hardships, then just maybe, they won't go down the same path as my cousin, my best friend, and my father. And maybe we could have earlier intervention rather than waiting to people to fall into depression and anxiety, which is a massive issue, as you know. If we could get there a bit earlier, maybe we could save some more lives.
Being confronted with such a tragedies, you once, like you say, my pain became my power, and you went through such a dark times. Did you ever had the moments that you were thinking in a hardest time of ending it all yourself? Yeah,
great question. And I think before I answer this particular question, I think there's a lot of shame around this question for people and thinking sometimes what we would call bad thoughts. We all have thoughts at times that can be destructive or I guess not productive to our lives. There was a lot of nights I went to sleep at night wishing I never woke up. I would actually actively pray. I remember myself consciously thinking, please don't wake up, please don't wake up. There's no reason for you to wake up tomorrow morning. It's like I was trying to call it into my life. Because I saw no reason why I had a reason to wake up. There was no purpose, there was no happiness, there was nothing to keep me going, there was no love. I didn't feel I deserved love, I didn't feel like I deserved happiness. I felt guilty, I felt shameful, and I felt very lost. And every morning I would wake up, I'd be like, here we go again. And then when I would go to bed, I'd be like, please don't wake up. And wishing that you weren't here, that just sends your life into darkness, even more so, because you take for granted the things that you have, which is life. And there was one particular time, I remember leaving the casino when I was about 22. I was drinking and I got into a bit of a punch up, bit of a Barney at the front of the casino with a bunch of guys. And the guys weren't doing anything wrong. They just asked me a question, and I was really angry and sad and upset, drinking, as a lot of people do to suppress their challenges. And they beat me around a bit, and I walked away with a blood lip and a bloody nose and a bit of a swollen eye. And I remember walking across the Causeway Bridges in the city. by myself, blood over my white shirt, and I jumped up on there's a light pole on the causeway. I jumped up on this light pole, and then I was looking down into the water on the causeway bridges. And I was thinking, I'm just going to drop into this because I'm so drunk, I'm probably not going to be able to swim. And I'll be doing myself a favour, because I think that what happens in life, we feel like we become a burden. And that's what I felt I'd become. My family were always worried about me. Everyone was always on edge around me. I couldn't put together my thoughts and my feelings. I was erratic. I was up and down like a yo-yo, like completely. I was, the word erratic was how you describe me. Happy and really low. And in that moment, I remember thinking, I just couldn't do it to my mum. You know, my role model and my other role model, the person that believed in me through so much heartache. She always believed in me that I would find my way. And I just didn't want to put her through what I saw my family go through. And in that moment, I jumped down. And that wasn't my reason to change, but it was definitely my reason that I thought this might be it for me.
Beautiful. My next question, how did you find way back to life and light? How did you turn everything around after? What was the turning point? Like no more alcohol,
like a light bulb
no more
moment.
fighting, or was it a gradual? How did you find your way back?
Yeah, there's two things in life I really hold on to: pain and pleasure. And a lot of people say that it takes a long time to change. I believe that you decide in a moment. It's something that becomes either too painful or it's more pleasurable. Like pleasure I want to, or pain I have to.
Yes.
And this is like, again, like the compass of life, really. It's like I have to or I get to. And I remember coming home from, mine was pain, so I had to. So I remember coming home from work, complaining, justifying and blaming, as I did for so many years, probably about 4 years of my life. I blamed and justified and complained about everything. I was a victim. In the moment, back then, I didn't see myself as a victim. But looking back now, I was like, I was such a victim to my life. And I remember walking into my house and walking upstairs and complaining to my mum. I was like, Mum, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was complaining. And I was just, being erratic, as I mentioned before. And in this moment, she challenged me. She's like, Julian, can I speak to you about something? And I was like, of course. She's like, I don't know how you cope. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you've gone through so much. You've gone through more than many people would, and you're still here today, and you still find a way to live your life. And you're so brave, you're so courageous. But she was actually patronising me. And the way she was saying it, she was patronising me. So then I flipped. I was so angry. I was like, how dare you patronise me? How dare you? You wouldn't like to lose your father. You wouldn't like to lose your best friend. You wouldn't like to lose your cousin. This is how I started speaking to my mum. And I stormed out the house. And I remember driving. And I was so angry at her. But then I realised in this moment I was so angry at myself. And then this wave of emotion came over me, tears just running down my face. And I forgot what it was like to cry. And I forgot what it was like to feel that gut-wrenching emotion that wasn't pain. It was like a release. It was like I've been holding on to sadness for so long. I forgot what it was like to cry in the beauty of what being in pain and being hurt and having grief felt like. It's like I released it all in this moment. And I came home, and that's when it changed for me. I promised myself that I was going to work on myself every day. And that doesn't mean I didn't fall along the journey. I just went to work every single day and tried to put my life back together.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Twice your mum.
Twice my mum, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm going to use a quote from your quote that you're using. A tribe can make a big difference to those who are struggling. Who is part of your tribe?
There's a great saying, your vibe attracts your tribe. And my tribe when I was a bit younger was a reflective of my pain. There was nothing, no bad. I just say no bad people, just bad behaviour. But I was hanging around with people that were encouraging me to do bad behaviour. Drinking more and late nights and staying up partying and not looking after myself. And I'm a big believer in you get what you deserve. There's a lot of things that happened in my life were self-inflicted. I didn't see that at the time, but they were.
Yeah.
And as I put my life back together again and became really happy and really positive and really optimistic and went to work, I started to find these people that maybe were always there and I just didn't see them. And a tribe is everything to me, because if you don't have great people to share it with, then what's the point? So inside Happiness Co, we've got amazing ambassadors and they've all gone through their own journey.
Yes.
Because not everyone will resonate with my story.
Yes.
We've got people who have their own journey, their own story, and sharing that story allows people to, share their own and release their trauma. So they're our tribe inside our company, and then we've got 4 employees, which is amazing.
Yes.
But then I've got all my support people, my family, my friends.
Yes.
The people that I want to make the most proud of me.
But I'm talking back then, when you said, that's it, I'm going to work on myself, I'm going to change, I'm going to go different direction.
My tribe back then?
Yes.
Yeah.
People, because what I'm trying to obviously voice with you, that nobody can make it on their own.
No, of course not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So few people that were part of your journey before Happiness Co.
Yeah. And I guess before, when I decided to change and that support, as you said, you need support.
Yes.
And if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I had my mum. She was a rock to me. Because you do fall still. You don't just decide to change one life and then your life becomes perfect.
Of course.
So I had my mum, I had my stepfather, I had my brothers and my sisters, and I had my best friends. Mm-hmm. And they were there to pick me up when I guess fell. Mm. And I fell 9 and they picked me up 10. And
yes.
I have so much love and respect for them because they never gave up. And I think to believe in someone before they believe in themselves, like I always had faith. I always had faith that I could find my way, but they gave me the belief to continue on with faith.
Did you use professional mentoring before you became mentor yourself? How did you learn to be mentor? Did you go to professional people? Did you call and ask for professional help?
Yeah,
yes.
I did. I went to some professionals.
Yes.
And when I say professionals, you say the word mentors,
yes.
which is there were some areas in my life I needed to address and needed to improve. So I went to people that could directly help me with that area of my life, which is what a great mentor does.
Yes.
So I went to someone about emotions. How do I understand how I feel?
Great.
And then I went to someone about how to focus on routines and rituals to get my life back on track. Because so much of our life is what we do every day.
Yes.
So I got great mentors in my life, and they helped me with the things that seem so small. And one of my mentors a long time ago said, wax on, like the Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off, sorry. Little things every day.
Yes.
Make the biggest difference.
How does a day of Julian Pace look like now, Julian now?
Oh.
We don't want to know the day before the times, but now, how does your routine day looks?
They look pretty amazing. And
Share, where is the energy, the absolute fitness, the positive light that comes out of you? How do you achieve it?
Yeah, and I'm massive on starting your day with power.
Okay.
If you don't start your day with power, you become reactive to everyone else's problems and everyone else's challenges. So I'm really thorough in my routine, and that's from my great mentors that told me.
And share it with us. What's your routine?
So I'll get up at the moment. It changes all the time, but at the moment 5:30. 5:30 in the morning, straight out of bed. No alarm clock. I spring out of bed and I go into this thing I call priming.
Yes.
It's like a breathing exercise, and it brings awareness to the moment. And then in that breathing exercise, I express gratitude, and not just I'm grateful for my family and grateful for my friends. I'm actually express and go into detail. So I say what I'm grateful for, and this process goes for about 15 minutes. So every morning up for 15 minutes. Then I go to my green smoothie. I write in my emotional diary.
Great.
I set my big intentions for the day. And one of the greatest sayings I've ever heard: if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yes.
So I want to start my day starting with a really pure intention of what I want to achieve.
Yes.
And the work I do, I work with so many people that are a little lost.
Yes.
And looking for direction.
Yes.
And I'm so humbled that they come to me. But I want to serve them, I want to give to them, and the way I do so is by making sure I start my day with power.
Beautiful. Do you believe that you can teach people how to become happy?
100%. I think that everything's a learnt skill. Unhappiness, loneliness, sadness, hurt, these are all things that we've learnt along the way. But so is joy and gratitude and gratefulness. These things are all a skill that we can learn, but unfortunately we spend a lot of time focusing on what's wrong with our lives rather than what is right with our lives.
Julian, in today's time when we live in pop-up culture, instant results, do you think there is some kind of misconception or misunderstanding of the term happiness
100%.
or conditional happiness?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't even know what happiness is. Happiness, a lot of people think happiness is fun and joy. They are completely different things. These are emotions. Happiness is by design, which is very much who you are.
Yes.
So many people are trying to be someone else,
Yes.
to fit in, to be loved, to be accepted, to validate their own insecurities. Happiness is so much about, this is who I am. I'm proud of it. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to build on myself every single day. And being vulnerable with that. And authenticness, which is, this is me. You know, embrace your crazy. Embrace your weirdness. And I love this word. When I was growing up, people used to call me different. And I realized that being different means that you can actually change so many things in life because you think different, you are different, and you can actually make a difference. By being different, you can make a difference.
Beautiful.
But only when you embrace who you are can you make that so.
Beautiful. Question, what interests you most in people?
People?
Yes.
I would have to say emotion. Emotion, how they love, how they care. I'm fascinated by human behaviour. That's why I got into this work.
Yes.
About how people think, feel and behave.
Yes.
Because it's all a process. We think something, we feel something and we behave a certain way. I'm just fascinated by how someone's story makes them think, feel and behave. And that's why I do this work, because I love it when they get this aha moment.
Yes.
Like wherever I've been, however lost I have become, there's a real beauty in that. And some of my clients always say this to me, you have a really good thing about you. And I was like, what is it? They're like, you make people feel really happy about being really lost.
Happiest day of your life?
Happiest day of my life. Oh, that's a big question. But I'll have to say recently the Happiness Co launch.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I was privileged to be even
Yeah,
there.
thank you.
What attracts you in a woman?
What attracts me in a woman?
Yes.
I'd have to say a kind heart. I think that you can learn a lot of things, but you can't. Kindness. I always talk about who wants to be more sexy. Who wants to be more sexy in life? And when I do it on stage, all the women put their hand up. I want to be more sexy.
Yes.
And I'll say, well, please write this down. You want to be more sexy? Be more kind. Be more compassionate. Be more giving. Be more caring. These are the traits I look for in a woman because I think that they're really intangible.
Beautiful. Another quote of yours.
Yep.
Happiness could change a life, even save one.
Yeah, I love that. And when we developed this, or our team developed this and I developed this, it's our ecosystem. It's our ethos, which is about finding your happy in the moment.
Yes.
And in who you are.
Yes.
Together we can, which is everyone's responsibility to make a difference.
Yes.
And then happiness could change a life, even save one. And the reason I developed it, because if you think about my father and you think about me, and even my best friend actually, I was happy before my father passed away. I was not, my life wasn't great, but I was a young guy and I was excited about the possibility of the future. And as you do, you're excited to get out of bed in the morning, and I always look forward to what next. But I lost all that in a moment. It was gone. Literally, it's like someone had stole it from me. And I didn't know, I actually couldn't find it. That's why I had Find Your Happy. I didn't know where to find it. I tried, and it's like trying to start your car in the morning, it won't start. It was like it was ticking over and it just wouldn't start. But then I think about my father. He lost his happiness and he never found it again. And ultimately he lost his life. So I say happiness could change a life, even save one. Because if we can help people find it in themselves, not in circumstance in life, in themselves, and there's enough people around them to support them, which is together we can, I truly believe that we can save more lives.
Beautiful. You were invited to be testimonial speaker at the 10th anniversary of the Men in Black Ball in support of men's mental health and fight against depression. How did you feel about it, and what do you think? What impact you have made on all the people in the room?
Amazing. And as I said on the night, and I really mean this, I've spoken on a lot of stages over the last 2 years, but none more important than the Men in Black Ball. Because 10 years of raising awareness for men's mental health, I think that's really powerful.
Last of your wonderful quotes, which I want to develop very quickly. People with focus, passion, and an inspiring vision can champion the movement that can change the world. What's your vision for the world?
Yeah, I have this crazy concept. I believe in the growth and the sustainability of Happiness Co. And I believe in it so much that the logo is, the logo is round.
Yes.
First thing I did when I got the logo designed, I whacked it on our wall.
Yes.
And we went and got a globe. I got a globe as a gift.
Yes.
And we put the globe there. And the globe represents the company going global.
Yes.
And we believe that we'll go global. Everywhere in the world will be something that represents Happiness Co.
Beautiful. So, Julian, all I can say, the last question, magic wand.
Magic wand.
You've got a magic wand.
What would I wish for? I wish for people to know how amazing they are and to see themselves how they're supposed to be seen, which is the beauty in their imperfections. To realize that everything about them, that uniqueness, makes them amazing. Because that's why I see it go so wrong. If I had a magic wand, I would show people the beauty inside them before they saw it themselves, because then we would eliminate so many of these challenges. Beautiful. And the world would become a better, brighter and more happy place.
Beautiful. Thank you for your time today, and Julian, I wish that your magic wand will do its magic, and looking forward to Happiness Co, helping so many people around the world.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.